Arthur Wagner was a rising star in the AfD, the Alternative for Germany party. He was young, charismatic, and a fiery speaker. Wagner was deeply involved in local politics in his hometown of Dresden. He truly believed in the AfD's message, a message that resonated with many Germans. The AfD was gaining popularity. They had a simple message: Germany for Germans. They were against immigration, especially from Muslim countries. They claimed Islam was incompatible with German values. Wagner echoed these sentiments. He was a proud nationalist. He felt strongly about preserving German identity and culture. Wagner was a devout Christian. He was raised in the Protestant church. He believed Christianity was under attack. He saw Islam as a threat to Christian values. He was vocal about his beliefs. He wasn't afraid to challenge anyone. He quickly became a prominent voice in the AfD. The AfD emerged during a time of great change and uncertainty in Germany. The political landscape was shifting, and many citizens were grappling with the rapid pace of these transformations. The arrival of large numbers of refugees and migrants fueled anxieties. People were concerned about the impact on jobs, social services, and the cultural fabric of their communities. Many people felt their way of life was under threat. They worried about the preservation of their traditions, values, and the future of their children in an increasingly diverse society. The AfD capitalized on these fears. They positioned themselves as the defenders of German culture and identity, promising to restore a sense of security and stability. They offered simple solutions to complex problems. Their rhetoric was divisive, often pitting one group against another to gain political traction. They painted a picture of an Islamization of Europe. This narrative was designed to stoke fear and suspicion among the populace. They claimed Islam was incompatible with democracy and freedom. They used inflammatory language to drive a wedge between communities. They spoke of Muslim invaders and a clash of civilizations. This rhetoric was aimed at creating an us versus them mentality. This message resonated with a segment of the population, people who felt left behind by globalization and cultural change. They saw the AfD as a voice for their frustrations and fears. The AfD's stance on Islam was clear. They wanted to limit its influence in Germany. They proposed policies that targeted Muslim communities specifically. They proposed banning the construction of minarets. This was part of a broader strategy to curb visible symbols of Islam in public spaces. They wanted to restrict the wearing of headscarves in public. This policy was seen as an attack on personal freedoms and religious expression. They even questioned the legality of Islam in Germany. This extreme stance was controversial and sparked significant debate. Their policies were widely seen as discriminatory. Many accused the AfD of promoting xenophobia and intolerance. However, the AfD insisted they were simply protecting German values and identity. They argued that their measures were necessary to preserve the nation's heritage and future. Arthur Wagner was raised in a traditional German household. His family was deeply religious. They were devout Protestants. He grew up attending church every Sunday. He sang in the choir. He even served as an altar boy. Faith was a central part of his life. It shaped his worldview. Wagner was a bright student. He excelled in school. He was particularly interested in history and literature. He was fascinated by German history and culture. He was proud of his heritage. After graduating high school, he enrolled in the University of Dresden. He studied political science. It was during his university years that Wagner became increasingly interested in politics. He was drawn to nationalist ideas. He felt that Germany was losing its way. He was troubled by what he saw as the erosion of traditional values. He joined the AfD. He was drawn by their message of national pride and cultural preservation. He truly believed in their cause. In 2017, Arthur Wagner traveled to Ufa, Russia, as a part of an AfD delegation. The purpose of this journey was to explore and strengthen ties with like-minded political groups in the region. The trip was intended to foster relationships and build alliances with political groups that shared similar ideologies and goals. It was during this trip that Wagner's life took an unexpected turn, one that would challenge his deeply held beliefs and force him to confront his own prejudices. This journey would become a pivotal moment in his life. One evening, after a long day of meetings, Wagner found himself wandering through the streets of Ufa. The city was quiet and the night air was cool and refreshing. As he walked, he stumbled upon a mosque, its minarets illuminated against the night sky. The sound of the call to prayer began to echo through the streets, captivating him with its melodic and haunting beauty. He paused, mesmerized by the melodic chanting that filled the air. It was unlike anything he had ever heard before. He had never heard anything like it before, and it stirred something deep within him. As he stood there, he felt a strange sense of peace wash over him, a feeling that was both foreign and comforting. It was a stark contrast to the anger and fear that had come to define his political beliefs. This moment of tranquility made him question the emotions that had driven him for so long. Curiosity got the better of him, and he felt an inexplicable urge to learn more about this place and its people. He decided to enter the mosque, feeling a mix of apprehension and anticipation. He sat quietly at the back, observing the worshippers as they went about their prayers with a sense of devotion and peace. He watched as they prostrated themselves in prayer, their movements synchronized and filled with reverence. He listened to the imam's words, though he couldn't understand the language. The tone and cadence conveyed a message of peace and spirituality. He felt a sense of serenity that he had never experienced before, a calmness that seemed to envelop him. He had never experienced anything like it before, and it left him feeling both enlightened and confused. He began to question everything he thought he knew about Islam, realizing that his previous beliefs were based on misconceptions and fear. Section 5. A conversion that shocked Germany. Arthur Wagner's conversion to Islam sent shockwaves through Germany. It was a story that dominated headlines. The media couldn't get enough of it. How could a rising star in the AfD, a party known for its anti-Islamic stance, embrace the very faith he had once denounced? It was a question that puzzled many. Wagner's conversion became a national talking point. It sparked debates about identity, faith, and belonging in modern Germany. Some dismissed it as a publicity stunt. Others questioned his sincerity. His former colleagues in the AfD were outraged. They felt betrayed. They accused him of hypocrisy. Wagner's conversion was not without consequences. He faced a barrage of criticism and even threats. He was ostracized by his former friends and colleagues. He was labeled a traitor by some. He was hailed as a hero by others. He became a symbol of the complexities of identity in the 21st century. Section 6. Finding God, Losing Faith. Arthur Wagner's journey to Islam was a deeply personal one, marked by profound introspection and a search for deeper meaning. It was a journey that began with disillusionment, a feeling that gnawed at him for years. He had become increasingly uncomfortable with the direction of the AfD, a party he once believed in. He felt the party had become too extreme, straying far from its original principles. He was disturbed by the growing xenophobia and Islamophobia within its ranks, which clashed with his own values. Wagner had also started to question his own faith, feeling a disconnect that he couldn't ignore. He felt the Protestant Church had become out of touch with the needs of ordinary people, failing to address their real concerns. He was troubled by the Church's silence on issues such as social justice and inequality, which he felt were crucial. He felt a spiritual void in his life, a gap that seemed to widen with each passing day. Wagner's experience in Ufa was a turning point, a moment of clarity amidst the chaos. It opened his eyes to the beauty and spirituality of Islam, something he had never truly understood before. He began to read the Quran, immersing himself in its teachings and finding solace in its words. He was drawn to its message of peace, compassion, and social justice, values that resonated deeply with him. He found answers to the questions that had been troubling him, answers that eluded him in his previous faith. He felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before, a connection that filled the void in his heart. Section 7. A new identity, a new struggle. Arthur Wagner's conversion to Islam brought with it a new set of challenges. He had to learn the rituals and practices of his newfound faith. He had to come to terms with his new identity as a Muslim in a society that often viewed Islam with suspicion. He faced discrimination and prejudice. He was subjected to hateful comments and stares. He was even denied service at some establishments. he was forced to confront the reality of Islamophobia in Germany. He realized that the hatred and fear he had once espoused had real consequences for ordinary Muslims. Wagner became an advocate for interfaith dialogue and understanding. He used his platform to challenge stereotypes and misconceptions about Islam. He spoke out against discrimination and prejudice. He shared his story with the hope of building bridges between communities. Section 8, The Price of Conversion. Arthur Wagner's conversion to Islam came at a personal cost. He lost friends, he faced rejection from his family, he was ostracized by his former colleagues in the AfD, he became a target of hate mail and death threats. He was constantly reminded that his choice was not accepted by everyone. Despite the challenges, Wagner remained steadfast in his commitment to his faith. He drew strength from his newfound community. He found solace in prayer. He realized that true faith often requires sacrifice. Wagner's story is a testament to the transformative power of faith. It is a reminder that change is possible even in the face of adversity. It is a story about the search for identity and belonging in a world that is increasingly divided. Section 9. Arthur's Journey, a reflection of our times. Arthur Wagner's story is more than just a personal tale of conversion. It is a reflection of the challenges and complexities of our times. It highlights the rise of populism and nationalism across the globe. It underscores the dangers of intolerance and prejudice. Wagner's journey from far-right nationalist to devout Muslim is a powerful reminder that people are capable of change. It is a story about the power of empathy and understanding. It is a testament to the enduring human spirit. In a world often defined by division and conflict, Arthur Wagner's story offers a glimmer of hope. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, light can emerge from Arthur Wagner was a rising star in the Alternative für Deutschland, or AfD, party. His ascent within the party ranks was nothing short of meteoric, capturing the attention of both supporters and critics alike. Wagner's speeches were often the highlight of AfD rallies, drawing large crowds eager to hear his impassioned oratory. He was known for his fiery rhetoric. His speeches were filled with fervor and conviction, often leaving his audience both energized and polarized. Wagner had a unique ability to tap into the frustrations and fears of his listeners, making him a powerful and influential figure within the party. Wagner often spoke out against immigration. He argued that unchecked immigration posed a significant threat to the cultural and economic stability of Germany. His stance on this issue resonated deeply with many Germans who felt that their concerns were being ignored by the mainstream political establishment. He was especially critical of Islam. Wagner frequently claimed that the religion was fundamentally incompatible with Western values and democratic principles. His speeches on this topic were often controversial, sparking heated debates and drawing both support and condemnation from various quarters. He saw the religion as incompatible with Western values. Wagner's views on Islam were a central theme in his political platform, and he often used them to rally support among those who shared his concerns about the cultural changes taking place in Germany. His views resonated with a segment of the German population. Many of his supporters felt that Wagner was giving voice to their own fears and frustrations, and they rallied around him as a champion of their cause. This made him a popular figure within the AfD. His ability to articulate the concerns of his supporters and his willingness to take on controversial issues made him a key player in the party's rise to prominence. Wagner's background was typical for the AfD leadership. Like many of his colleagues, he came from a relatively modest background and had worked his way up through the ranks of the party. He came from a middle-class family. His upbringing in a typical German household gave him a deep understanding of the concerns and aspirations of ordinary Germans, which he used to great effect in his political career. He'd studied law and worked as a lawyer. This professional background gave him a solid foundation in legal and political matters, which he used to bolster his arguments and lend credibility to his positions. He was frustrated with the political establishment. Wagner felt that the traditional political parties were out of touch with the needs and concerns of ordinary Germans, and he was determined to change that. He felt it had ignored the concerns of ordinary Germans. This sense of frustration and disillusionment with the political status quo was a driving force behind his decision to join the AfD. Wagner joined the AfD in its early days. He saw the party as a vehicle for change, a way to challenge the established political order and give voice to the concerns of ordinary Germans. The party was founded in 2013. Initially, it was a small fringe movement, but it quickly gained traction as more and more Germans became disillusioned with the mainstream political parties. It started as a protest against the euro currency. The AfD's early focus was on economic issues, particularly opposition to the European Union's monetary policies and the perceived negative impact of the euro on Germany's economy. It quickly morphed into a broader anti-establishment movement. As the party grew, it began to address a wider range of issues, including immigration, national identity, and cultural preservation. The AfD capitalized on fears about immigration. The party's leaders, including Wagner, used the issue of immigration to galvanize support and build a broad-based movement that appealed to a wide range of voters. It became the third largest party in the German parliament. The AfD's rapid rise to prominence was a testament to the effectiveness of its message and the deep-seated frustrations of many German voters. Wagner's rise within the AfD was swift. His ability to connect with voters and articulate their concerns made him a key figure in the party's leadership. He was elected to the Bundestag in 2017. This was a significant milestone in his political career and a testament to his growing influence within the party. He became a leading voice on immigration. Wagner's speeches in the Bundestag were often focused on the issue of immigration, and he quickly became one of the most prominent and controversial figures in the debate. His views were often controversial. Wagner's outspoken stance on immigration and Islam made him a polarizing figure, attracting both fervent supporters and vocal critics. But they resonated with the AfD base. His ability to tap into the fears and frustrations of his supporters made him a powerful and influential figure within the party. He seemed destined for a prominent role in German politics. Then everything changed. Wagner's sudden and unexpected departure from the AfD left many of his supporters and colleagues in shock, and the reasons behind his decision remain a topic of much speculation and debate. In 2022, Arthur Wagner announced his conversion to Islam. The news sent shockwaves through Germany. It was a complete reversal for the anti-Islam politician. Wagner had undergone a profound personal transformation. He had been studying Islam for months. He had found answers to questions that had troubled him. He was drawn to the religion's emphasis on peace and justice. Wagner's conversion was a private matter, but it had major public implications. He was a leading figure in a party hostile to Islam. His conversion challenged the AfD's core identity. It also forced a national conversation about Islam in Germany. Wagner's conversion was met with mixed reactions. Some people were supportive. They praised his courage and honesty. Others were skeptical. They suspected a political ploy. Many were simply confused. They couldn't reconcile Wagner's past with his present. Wagner's conversion was a defining moment. It revealed the complexities of identity. It demonstrated the power of faith to change hearts and minds. It also exposed the deep divisions within German society. Wagner's conversion to Islam caused deep divisions within the AfD. This unexpected turn of events sent shockwaves through the party, which had long been known for its staunch opposition to Islam and immigration. The news of his conversion spread quickly, igniting a firestorm of reactions from both within the party and the public. Some party members were accepting. They saw Wagner's conversion as a personal matter, separate from his political duties. These members believed that personal faith should not interfere with one's ability to serve the party and its constituents. They respected his personal choice. To them, Wagner's decision was a testament to the freedom of religion, a fundamental right that should be upheld regardless of political affiliation. They recognized his right to religious freedom. This group argued that the party should stand by its members, even when their personal choices diverged from the party's official stance. However, many others were outraged. For them, Wagner's conversion was not just a personal decision, but a direct affront to the party's core values and principles. They felt betrayed by his conversion. These members had joined the AfD because of its strong stance against Islam, and Wagner's new faith felt like a betrayal of the very ideals they had fought for. They saw it as an attack on the party's values. The AfD had built its platform on opposition to Islam, and Wagner's conversion seemed to undermine the party's credibility and consistency. The AfD had built its platform on opposition to Islam. This stance had attracted a significant portion of its voter base, who saw the party as a bulwark against what they perceived as the Islamization of Germany. Wagner had been a leading voice in this movement. His speeches and public appearances had often centered around the dangers of Islam and the need to protect German culture and values. Now he was embracing the very religion he had denounced. This dramatic shift left many in the party feeling confused and betrayed, unsure of how to reconcile Wagner's past rhetoric with his new faith. This created a fundamental crisis for the party. The AfD was forced to confront its own internal contradictions and the limits of its ideological purity. It forced the AfD to confront its own contradictions. The party had to decide whether it could accommodate diverse personal beliefs within its ranks, or if it would strictly enforce its ideological boundaries. The party leadership was divided on how to handle the situation. Some leaders saw an opportunity to demonstrate the party's commitment to individual freedoms, while others viewed it as a threat to the party's unity and message. Some wanted to expel Wagner immediately. They argued that his continued presence in the party would erode its credibility and alienate its core supporters. They argued that his presence damaged the party's credibility. To them, allowing Wagner to stay would be seen as a sign of weakness and inconsistency. Others urged a more cautious approach. They believed that expelling Wagner could backfire, portraying the party as intolerant and inflexible. They feared a backlash from expelling a convert. This group worried that such a move could be seen as an attack on religious freedom and could alienate potential supporters who valued personal liberty. The internal debate within the AfD reflected a broader societal struggle. Germany was grappling with issues of immigration, integration, and the role of religion in public life. Germany was grappling with issues of immigration and integration. The country was in the midst of a heated debate about how to balance cultural diversity with national identity. The AfD had exploited these anxieties for political gain. The party had positioned itself as the defender of traditional German values against the perceived threat of foreign influence. But Wagner's conversion challenged the party's simplistic narrative. It forced the AfD to confront the complexities of identity, faith, and belonging in a modern, multicultural society. Arthur Wagner's journey from anti-Islam politician to devout Muslim raises a fundamental question. Can a political movement defined by opposition embrace diversity? Wagner's transformation is not just a personal journey, but a reflection of broader societal dynamics. It challenges us to think about the nature of political movements and their capacity for change. This question goes beyond the specific case of Wagner and the AfD. It touches on the core principles that underpin political ideologies and the identities they foster. Political movements often start with a clear set of beliefs and goals, but as society evolves, so too must these movements. It touches upon the very nature of political ideology and identity. Ideologies are not static. They are living, breathing entities that must adapt to the changing needs and values of the people they represent. This adaptability is crucial for the survival and relevance of any political movement. Oppositional politics often thrives on creating an us versus them dynamic. This binary approach simplifies complex issues, making it easier to rally support. However, it also risks alienating those who do not fit neatly into either category. This dynamic can be powerful in mobilizing support and galvanizing action. It creates a sense of unity and purpose among supporters, driving them to work towards a common goal. Yet this unity can come at a cost. However, it can also lead to exclusion and intolerance. When a movement is built on opposition, it often leaves little room for dissenting voices or alternative perspectives. This can create an environment where intolerance and exclusion become the norm. When a group defines itself solely by what it opposes, it risks becoming monolithic and resistant to change. This rigidity can stifle innovation and prevent the movement from addressing new challenges or embracing new opportunities. Embracing diversity requires a shift in perspective. It means moving beyond a binary view of the world and recognizing the value of different experiences and viewpoints. This shift can be challenging, but is essential for growth and progress. It means recognizing the shared humanity of all people, regardless of their background or beliefs. This recognition is the foundation of a more inclusive and compassionate society. It encourages us to see others not as adversaries, but as fellow human beings with their own unique stories and contributions. It means engaging in dialogue and understanding, even with those with whom we disagree. Dialogue is a powerful tool for bridging divides and finding common ground. It allows us to learn from each other and to build a more cohesive and resilient community. This can be difficult, especially in the charged arena of politics. Emotions run high and the stakes are often significant. However, it is precisely in these moments of tension that the potential for meaningful change is greatest. However, the potential rewards of embracing diversity are significant. A diverse and inclusive society is not only more just, but also more vibrant and dynamic. It is a society where everyone has the opportunity to contribute and to thrive. A more inclusive society is a more just and equitable society. It ensures that all individuals, regardless of their background, have access to the same opportunities and are treated with the same respect and dignity. It is also a more resilient society, better equipped to navigate the complexities of the 21st century. In a world that is increasingly interconnected and interdependent, diversity is a strength. It brings different perspectives and solutions to the table, making us better prepared to face the challenges